So now it just tried to cross over into being weird, and crazy, and just like I've been saying, I didn't understand. I still been in my bed today. It's one something, and I'm still laying down. I haven't gotten up. I went to use the bathroom, but I've been thinking. I've been trying to still get past one thing and one little incident or whatever. Um, Not incident, but in the direction of something else, where that's why I'm like, is the enemy just really trying to use this to distract me from other things, by manifesting in certain situations, by, yeah, I guess that's the way I'm supposed to say it, manifesting in certain situations to get me to not think about certain stuff. And even last night, when I sat down and I did a video, and I'm like, the main thing, most important thing is about my daughter, is regarding my daughter, not being a part of this household and stuff like that. And for whatever reason, not feeling like she's wanted to come back and reside here and stuff like that. So I didn't know. So I come across a video today. It was something called CPS videos or whatever on, I think, on Facebook. It must have I was gonna say a channel, but it might have a channel too on YouTube, but a page dedicated to, um, oh, okay, Facebook. I mean, CPS stuff. So I don't know. I don't know what it is, but yeah, with the whole situation regarding my daughter and stuff like that, we didn't have no type of court order in place, or with any of my kids. So, anyway, and it was something else that caught my attention. But anywho, went on there and was watching a video. It was a mom and a dad, no longer together. Mom remarried. I don't know if the dad's remarried or whatever. They said that the dad only sees the son 48 days out of a year. That don't even make a dent in a 365-day year. But yeah, only sees the son, the kids, 48 days out of the year. I guess because he would get them on weekends and stuff like that. Um, on this particular day, it was a Sunday. The mom was supposed to have all the kids back by 2 p.m. Pulled up, scenario happened. The boy wouldn't get out the car. The boy's 14 years old. Of course, that reminded me of my daughter. While I'm watching, I'm like, oh Lord, 14 years old. Remind you of your my daughter. Didn't, you know what I'm saying? Because I've always told and taught my kids, I don't own y'all. I don't control y'all, but I do parent y'all. I'm here to help lead and guide you. I'm definitely here to train you and stuff like that. But I don't own you. And I've always told them while they were here, it's nothing stopping y'all from walking out the door if y'all so choose to. When you got the mindset to do it, you're at the age. I said, so don't ever, get it twisted, because nobody owns you. Just driving that point home, as far as nobody owning them. Now, what I do, because of my beliefs, yes, I believe God created us and He does own us. So, and of course, you need to choose to give your life to Him. He owns it anyway, but he knows you, and He knew you before I laid down and conceived you. Again, my beliefs and my stuff or whatever. Not my stuff, but my beliefs, my strong and firm belief. And still taught my kids that, teach even my youngest kids now. Um, so of course that tried to bring me a little stress just watching the video. Because the mom was just politely and calmly asking her son to get out. And I know she probably wanted to come out the bag and probably wanted to snatch him by his ear and snatch him up out the car, but she was respecting him. And that is a tough thing when you've always parented and told your kids what to do, and then they get to a point where they're like, "Oh, now I'm gonna say what I'm not gonna do," and you can tell that they're not trying to be disrespectful, for the most part. Some, may try to disrespect their parents, but some just like, I'm not trying to be disrespectful. And my daughter made it clear. She was like, "Mom, I'm not trying to disrespect you. I just want to do this. I want to make this decision." I didn't like it, didn't care for it, don't think it was the right decision, don't think it's the right decision even till this day. But she made that decision, and I didn't go to the courts and try to get them to enforce her to do anything otherwise. I do, as usual, trust God with my daughter, because God can handle and deal with it better than, and bring about a certain outcome better than any court system can. Of course, initially signed up and got involved with the court system because of child support, because I was told by my own my so-called mom, this is what I needed to do, because it's going to encourage and enforce him to be, that father. Then was encouraged by my so-called dad and my so-called mom to do the same, similar with the boys' so-called dad. So that's that or whatever, and I, because those are parents, and they was strongly advising, and I felt and I'm gonna just always say I felt peace to go ahead and do so. I went ahead and did that. And then even with my daughter's so-called dad or whatever, oh, and not to mention some other not CPS, but child support papers or whatever is supposed to come here today. I seen it regarding the mail or whatever. Um oh no, I don't want to sound like I'm all over the place. It's just crazy. So I'm watching the video, and the officer, and this is about 50 minutes in. I think it's like an hour and some change type video, length video. And 50 minutes in, 40 some minutes in, the officer comes on the scene. They had called for a non-emergency officer because she was trying to enforce the court order. It was on paper, what was written, the boy was supposed to be there. I'm guessing at 14 years old, he got a little say-so or whatever. I think eventually, I want to know what happened in the aftermath, but I think eventually they made him go back with his mom because of what the court order says. Um, um, but I'm okay. So anyway, it just blew my mind. That's why I really can't get to what the what I really want to say, that I really don't want to say or mention or whatever. But I don't know what it is, and I don't know what it means. But this is what happened. 49 minutes or so into the video, the police officer comes on the scene, and he's talking and finding out what's going on. Talk to the mom, talk to the dad, and then the dad asks him what's his name and his badge number and stuff. And why is his name, his whole name, not half, not part? I don't know about his middle name, but why is his first and last name the same name as old what's his name? And I'm going to put the thumbnail up, of course, for this video. And of course, that's going to expose what his name is or whatever. But I took it while it was the captions. I took a screenshot while the captions were on, and it's the boys' so-called dad. And like I said, now I call him, oh, what's his name? His name. Like, what? What is really going on? It's creepy. Of course, if I didn't know better, but it's weird, it's strange. It brought about some crazy feelings. I really don't know what to think. I definitely have peace. That's a good thing, but his whole name, like I could have just slapped myself, pinched myself. So I bring my older son in here and let him know, this is what I just seen, and he's about mind blown too. He was like, it's surprising. He said it's surprising. Um, it could be a situation where, and I'm seeing something else that is associated with that, but it could be a situation where, and I hope not, but where they try to manifest certain stuff or whatever the case may be, but I hope not. um, or it could very well be their own, that the dude who I'm speaking of and not trying to speak of at the same time is trying to manifest something because his whole name showed up in the form of a white police officer, a Caucasian police officer. Whole name. I felt the type of way, like, what? And so I don't know what to think of it or make of it. Like I said, I don't know what it is. I was not expecting that at all. Like, I literally just could have threw my phone across the room. It definitely pisses me off a little bit that his name shows up around here at all. And his name gonna show up on some other paperwork, I'm sure, or I'm almost sure, as far as the mail that's coming today. And it just that definitely gets me to thinking deeper. Like, this whole thing that I've been upset and I've been disappointed about and stuff like that, I over the past 2 or 3 days, where the little boy's flipping the bird and stuff like that. And then, of course, I think I mentioned it on the video, that reminded me of the boys' so-called dad. sticking up his middle finger because to me it was so stupid or whatever. But he does things like that or whatever. And I just be like, are you serious? And it just, I don't know if it seems like it's the same type of spirit or the familiar spirit operating in the little boy. And it's like, if so, how? How is that possible? Is it that I'm missing it and that how yeah, he shot on, I see. Speaking of, it sounds like I'm saying I see. I want to see clearly, and that was my tongue's language. But so I don't know what I was saying, but I know what it sounds like. Um, oof, I don't know what this is and what's going on. Hayaisha ndasi andasi kona haikera na haike saroroshi haika isa iko araisha iko serene. Lord have mercy. And that's my thing. I'm like, the enemy trying to use something else to distract me. And I've always tried to stay focused on the fact that my daughter is not present and I need to stay prayed up regarding her protection and things of those natures. And even, trusting God for his outcome as far as where she is, where she needs to be, and her being in the right places and things like that. Whatever all I be going into detail about. Um, so I was just like, that stuff is pissing me off that they're trying to do, but I got what you call bigger fish to fry. Seriously. And I mean, I wasn't trying to fry no fish, but hey, if they need to be fried, then let the frying commence or whatever. And really, if the so-called neighbors was any type of fish that I'm not even concerned with them like that, they definitely be the smaller fish to fry. You know what I'm saying? That's nothing, but I mean, I'm glad that God had me looking at it that way, but at the same time, it's like, because yeah, because God knows for the past probably 6 months or so, I've been definitely referring to him as so-called dad, their so-called dad, and now, oh, what's his name? And, that means somebody you're trying to definitely forget about and you're not concerned about. So I don't know if that means he wants me to be concerned about him. I don't know. I don't think that means that God wants me to be concerned. I think that means that God wants me to just be aware and be, attentive and stuff like that. But I think maybe he wants me to be concerned about him and stuff like that. And I don't have that concern for him any longer. I don't want to deal with him. I don't want to go there with him. He definitely already like tampered with my heartstrings. And like that mom in the video said, she said her son was her whole heart walking around outside her body. That's how I feel about my daughter. Like, ain't my whole heart because I got 3 children, but a nice little portion of it because that's my first child and that's my only daughter. Like, so of course, and so by helping to get her removed from the household, you messed with my heart. You played with my heart. You played games and stuff like that already with me, emotional and mind games, and then you had a strong nerve and audacity to mess with my daughter. And I didn't mess with your kids. I didn't do any of that when it came to him. Have I felt, like I said, a certain type of way regarding his parenting or co-parenting or whatever? Yeah. And I felt like I had a right to, especially with the second one, the one that he had out while he was involved with me and stuff like that. But I never took no steps and tried to maneuver or manipulate or anything. I was just always was trying to be transparent, keep it, if he would ever ask, keep it honest with him and stuff like that. But anyway, so I don't know what it means. I will be, I guess on the lookout or paying attention or whatever. I don't feel like it, especially when it's anything regarding him. But God knows, as always, God knows the details. He knows the things that I don't know regarding this matter. And I'm just trusting God already. Like the first signs of it, I'm just saying, Lord, I don't know. Before any weapons formed, of course, no weapon formed against me shall prosper. But before they even form, don't even allow them to form. Return to the enemy, null and void. Can't plans canceled. And let's leave it at that. And if I don't never have to find out what it is or was just trying to manifest, then to God be all the glory. Like when it comes to that, I don't want to play. When it comes to my kids definitely, heart, soul, all that good stuff. major parts of me. They're not fully me. I'm not fully them. And I don't even want to say extensions of me. I just want to say, and I feel like, of course, they belong to me. Those are mine. But I give them to God. Even now, my sons, I give their minds, will, and emotions over to God to pour into them, to help them to understand and comprehend the things of God, the ways of God. And granted, I had peace when I seen it. It was just so mind blowing and so shocking that the man's whole name was that man's whole name. And I'm like, what? Whole time I definitely been trying to avoid even his first name. And you mean to tell me his whole name gonna show up? I mean, besides some paper, some mail on some mail or whatever, that's different. But you mean to tell me his whole name gonna show up here? And even in a dream where I recently had where my daughter was writing his name on. Well, it seems I don't. My daughter didn't write the name. Well, I don't know who wrote the name. It seems like it was written by a child or with a purple pen and stuff like that. And I know I used to always tell my daughter, "Girl, I want my husband for my birthday, Christmas, this, that, and the third. All I want is my husband and my family." And mainly, I always said first my husband because I'm like, yeah, because I just felt like that was we needed the headship and all the order would come. So for that dream, it just almost seemed like she was trying to give him to me and stuff like that. No, girl, you know nobody else can give him to me or give anything to me. You know what I'm saying? Only God can bless us to come into that type of agreement if that was meant to be. So when I was saying it, I didn't mean for her to feel like, oh, I need to be able to give my mom this or that. And I'm not saying that she did, but that was just in the dream. That's what it seemed like it indicated, where she was writing his name on like the lease or some paper or whatever. And it's like, mm-mm. And at this point, of course, I don't choose him. I choose God, and I choose what God has for me. But I don't choose. Oh, what's his name? I'm still not trying to say his name, even though I've seen it. I'm gonna put that thumbnail up though, but or put the picture up as a thumbnail as long as it allow me. It was just weird to me, and it's just weird that in the midst of all this other stuff to be going on, I had already said, let me turn my attention quickly back to my daughter and stay focused on her. And like this whole time that she been gone, stuff been trying to distract me and just get me to a place of just, you'll never get her back or you'll never have this. But of course, hope came when she showed up here and stuff like that. And I had literally asked God to send my daughter. So, thankful for that. But I don't know what this is about, and I don't want to wreck my brain over it. Hey, God, I give it right back to you. I don't know what it is. Lord, reveal on a need to know basis. Reveal to me what I need to know and how I need to maneuver and operate. Um, and speaking of him, they're going to want to, this big trifling, one of his cousins or whatever, um, leaving out the neighborhood. I just got silent so I can see what's going on. But yeah, mm, 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 mm. I don't know what it is with him. I don't know what it is with him. And I've always said it was a strange connection that I made with him. But it wasn't, like I said, it didn't never really, even though it was tumultuous and it was some crazy stuff going on, it didn't never really feel bad or it didn't never really make me feel bad. But I got to a point where I'm like, oh no, I don't like this dude. I don't like him at all. And I felt like he wanted me to he told me one time, you need to act like a trained bitch. It's like, did you want me to not like you by you doing all this stuff or what, or what is it, or are you really trying to see if somebody willing to endure with you? And I did, and you know what I'm saying, but he didn't show me the same thing, so I can't accept nothing less for myself. And in the beginning, he was looking at me, shaking his head, like, "Oh, this is too good to be true." And then he mentioned something about if it's too good to be true, if it feels too good to be true. Speaking of too good to be true, I'm gonna talk about that in a sec. But if it feels too good to be true, I started to back away in humility. That's what he said. I don't believe that it could be true, but just because he had been such a damn liar, I just don't believe it. I believe he just wanted to be selfish. But anywho, but I seen a post today that said if your relationship seems too good to be true, then that's good. Don't stop running away from stuff that seems too good to be true. That's healthy. And I agree with it as long as it is the truth. Because some stuff really does seem is too good to be true. It's just really some diabolical intentions. But anywho, I don't know what it is. I talked to my son real quick. I would never want that to happen, what that mom was going through. But honey, I done face, now that my daughter been removed, I'd be like, you know what? And I done pushed through. You think I'm gonna, I'm definitely gonna fight and contend in the spirit regarding all my kids. But as far, because God knows the truth. But as far as trying to fight them physically, fight their so-called other parent physically or anything like that, and even using the legal system, it's only but so much I'ma do or I would do regarding that, because kids do have feelings. Their feelings don't dictate; they should indicate, but they do have feelings that should be at least considered and somewhat honored. But the fact that the way you bring the kids in the world, oh, hold on. The way we bring the kids in the world sometimes, or oftentimes, is not the way that God intended. That the kids gonna have to come to a point where they gonna have to adjust to, this is the way it is. We did it wrong. This, that, and the third. We did it wrong. We did it right. We did it partially right. We did and doing it partially right is wrong. So just leave it at that. We did it disorderly or this, that, and the third. And so, there's consequences. There's things you got to endure and even feel, and your feelings might not always feel good. So, you got to deal with. And that's hard for me to even grasp on. Even as an adult, I'm still having to feel certain stuff that my own, my so called parents did, and still got to deal with it in adulthood. That's why I was trying to, if you will, lighten or soften the blow when it comes to my kids. I mean, I guess you just know the blow is coming. And then sometimes you get so comfortable and maybe even complacent that you forget. You're like, oh no, this ain't gonna happen to us, because you tend to forget that you did it the wrong way, the wrong or disorderly way, or whatever the case. And then, yeah, and then next thing you know, you're dealing with it. So I don't know what it is. Like I said, I'm put the thumbnail up. It like literally tried to shock me. I'm good on the shock factor, but it literally tried to shock me, and it literally tried to blow my mind. It definitely tried to boggle my mind. And I'm like, because also I be feeling like, why do I gotta even think about anybody who I'm not even around? I'm not interacting with this person. And God have already told me, don't even acknowledge, if something comes in from that person, don't acknowledge that it's him. It's all God providing for me. So providing for me, my children, and my household, and being the head of my household, since I don't have that physical. And then that's why I said too, even with the girl trying to convince me to be a lesbian and stuff like that, and I ain't going into all the details, but trying to convince me to be a lesbian and this. And I'm like, honey, no, don't get it twisted. Because I started having little feelings or whatever. Because like I said, I ain't been with a man in quite a while. And, well, I ain't been with a male. But anyway, I'm like, well, honey, I'm a woman and I do have needs. So, I'm almost thinking about and considering like this part right here, but just the physical aspect of it. But, and I don't mean to sound gay, if that, whatever. But I'm like, no, baby, I prefer the penile. I prefer the penis. So even with that, I don't know if that's him trying to grant me. Oh, that's her. She get her freedom. She can go on and baby, I'll take it. I mean, I'm not a slave anyway, but he claimed he owned me. He told me literally, I own your ass, because that's been said to him, and you know what I'm saying. But yeah, yes, give us free, give us free. Me, my children, all of us, me, all three of my children. Give us free for when I do have some, I want some more babies. I don't know what God is gonna allow, whatever. It's been tough, and I'm not rushing, but I do want more kids. I like being a mother. I want somebody that's gonna help me and stuff like that, and want to raise the kids with me. Granted, I don't want my kids having different daddies and this, that, and the third, but it is what it is. So, and I really would beat myself up about stuff like that, because I just can't stand it. I don't like the stigma attached to it, and I just don't like it. Like, I don't think it's right. I don't like it that it happened to me. I don't have no full siblings. I only had all half or step, or, you know what I'm saying? So, with that said, it kind of perked me up, but I'm like, okay, I don't know what's going on. But with that said, I'll be back on here probably sooner than later to talk some more. But I just wanted to go ahead and speak on that.